Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to go ahead and run you through how to install AutoFS and what some good options are for it. So let's go ahead and get started here. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and give you a rundown. What is AutoFS? AutoFS is a kernel auto mounter. So with fstab, you put your drives and stuff that you want mounted whenever you turn on the computer in fstab, and they mount. Problem is, if you break your internet connection or anything like that, it will tend to freeze up, lock up, mess up. So they have this thing that's built into the kernel. It's called AutoFS. And so if we look up AutoFS here, let's do kernel.org, right? Go directly to source, because this is one thing about this is it's built directly into the kernel. I always use built-in modules, so yeah, that's pretty much it. But I believe this should be built in to a lot of kernels already by default, depending on your distribution. So this one's going to be based on Debian, right? Now, it has a lot of options. It's slightly confusing at first, but I will break down how to use it. So, first thing you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to go ahead and install it, right? So sudo apt install AutoFS, like that, right? So I already have it installed, so it's just going to kind of ignore me, you know. Now, let's see if they have it on GitHub too. They do have an AutoFS. Now, I don't know if this is the official one. 8 years ago, blah, blah, blah. No, I think that's a little too old. I was going to see if they have any from source or anything like that. 5 years ago, 7 months ago. Okay. So, anyway. AutoFS. It's nice because it automatically, like if your SSH connection breaks, it automatically mounts it. Another thing that's nice about it is, like, I'll give you an example here. I'm going to go ahead and go into my mount folder, right? I'm going to go ahead and do an ls. Now, all these folders you see, they're mounted, right? And if they don't work, they're both usually kind of mounts anyway, right? So, if I go into, like, my server right here, right? See, that's an SSHFS. I should probably change his name a little bit so it makes a little more sense, but that's pretty much the idea, right? So, nice thing about this is if I was to turn it off, the service AutoFS stop, right? Yeah, I see something cool. So I believe it's waiting for a timeout right now. But anyway, what will usually happen, is all these folders right here, they'll disappear. Interesting. Well, I think there's a timeout happening. Yeah, I believe there's a timeout happening. Because anyway, what I was going to say is, yeah, usually whenever you stop it, it kills it right away, but it didn't. So I guess there's a timeout happening. I was going to say these folders are virtual. I don't know why it's not doing it now, but these folders are virtual, right? So when the service is stopped and the connection's not there, the folder goes away, which is really nice. Now, if you enable ghost mode, then it always has the folder there. Another thing is, if you go to etc, I'm going to go ahead and give you an example here. So this is what an AutoFS file looks like, right? Now, I'm using direct mounts, so I'm not using the maps at all. I'm just using the direct mounts, right? So for NFS, you'll see -fs type, NFS, then the version. I always like to use the newest version NFS. RW, async, soft, data transfer size, well, the packet size for the data transfer, and then the domain, right? Now for SSHFS, it's a little different. So if you're looking at like C fixedpc.net SSHFS, you're going to need to use Fuse, RW. Another important thing is make sure you have Fuse 3 installed. Don't do Fuse 1, especially if you're on Debian or whatever, because it will uninstall SSHFS. So you're going to want to make sure you have Fuse installed. Read write, allow other, allow root, right? Now you're gonna have to be careful because the biggest problem you're gonna come up with is if you start putting options, the options are slightly different. One of the reasons because using fuse, so you're gonna need to look up at the fuse SSHFS options, and if you put a wrong option there, it's simply not gonna mount. Another thing you're gonna notice on a lot of guides, they have a backslash for a break right here and a backslash for that there. You do not need that, from my understanding, as long as you're doing the direct mounts. Now you may have to be using a map file. Now a map file has advantages too. It does have its advantages, but personally, I would just go ahead and stick with it like this. Now, I guess I can give you a rundown too of the map file, but right now I'm not going to. I'm just going to do it the simple way, right? Because y'all probably want it the simple way. So, let me go over some more configurations. This is your Now, this is the auto.master file right here. So, for any mounts that are in that auto.mnt, they're going to have a timeout of 30. So if that connection breaks in 30 seconds, it's going to go ahead and, keep your computer from locking up if you're on a connection or whatever, blah, blah. Then you're on your plus auto master there. So this is like the slimmest possible, I'd say, AutoFS setup. Another one is, now if you tab out, you may have more or less depending on how many packages you have installed. Sometimes packages will add an entry here. Another thing is you'll see auto.smb, and then you'll see this right here. It's pretty much nothing, right? So, and then you'll see an auto master D file, right? Oops. Right, and this works the same way. You can put stuff in here and it'll automatically mount. I don't recommend that. For people that are just doing AutoFS and they're getting tired of their SSH connections breaking and their systems locking up and all hell breaking loose, and then, they can't feed their kid, and your wife kicks you out of the house, you don't get laid anymore, that's a problem. So, if you look to solve that issue, especially if you want to reproduce, you're going to need to use AutoFS. That way, you don't have like a catastrophe and your business burns down to the ground, and all the bad stuff happens to you, because that sucks. You don't want that kind of stuff happen. So, AutoFS is a great solution because a lot of times whenever you turn on, it won't even mount the folders. What it's going to do is it's just going to sit there, and then right when you have something ping that folder or try to connect, it will automatically mount it like lightning fast, and it's integrated in the kernel. So it's going to pick up and it's going to handle it well as long as you have it configured properly. Right? Another thing is you can use fstab with it, and whenever AutoFS kicks in, it will just make that virtual folder over it, and it will pretty much, your fstab will be in the background. But I wouldn't even recommend that because, anyway. So if this is the first time you're setting it up, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what you need to do to keep this simple. Real simple. Like, real simple. You're going to need to see the / and that dash. We go to a guide here. We do AutoFS arc. Alright. We go down to here. They're using the map files, right? So, a lot of times what people will do is they will put an MNT folder, and then it'll be like SSHFS, and then NFS. Now, the maps do have advantages of, if you're even trying to get to a subfolder, they can pick it up. So they can branch down, which is really nice. But I personally like to use direct mount because I think it's simpler, less headaches. I just like it. Another thing, if you want to boot like your ext4 drives and stuff like that, you're going to want to use a specific file for editing, and that would be here. So we're going to go to etc and then AutoFS.conf. Is it config? Oh, well, since I'm here, I'll let you know. This is the AutoFS config. I trimmed this thing down a lot, and I haven't finished trimming it down. I was taking out all the comments, but here's your config file, and here's some of my settings. Oh, this is supposed to be commented out. No, I don't know how that happened. This is the name of the master file right here, right? This is the master weight. And I recommend lowering a lot of these values. Mount verbose, yes. Mount weight, unmount weight. In case you have a problem and it's not unmounting, it's gonna give it 7 seconds. 7's a good number, so I like to use it. Browse mode. I actually forgot what this is. Well, I forgot what this. This is your default NFS protocol version. So you don't have to set this. You can set it in the options, but if you don't set it, it will default to 4. I like to keep logging on Verbose. You also got your LDAP settings. Alright, and there's a whole bunch. I'm not going to go through them all because you go through this file, and I got it about a 30th of the size just getting the actual configuration options in there. Another thing, so I'm going to go ahead and go over to what I need to show you. Okay, this is the important one that you need to know about. Auto.misc. Okay, so whenever you're mounting whenever you're mounting like ext4 file systems and stuff, it'd probably be best to use this. This is it's an auto mounter map. It has the file. Anyway, but you know what? Let's go ahead and give it a whirl here. So I'm gonna go ahead and disk list, and I have an SDA2 drive, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and umount boot or df umount boot. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go to my auto.misc. From what I remember, I guess we're about to find out because I honestly don't remember. I like to keep everything on a file like this, though. I'm gonna go ahead and say boot, and then fs type equals ext4, or actually vfat, right? And then dev sda2 or sda1, and I believe, yeah, dev, yeah. So yeah, just like that, right? And then we're going to RC service AutoFS start, stop, start. Just the heck of it. Another thing you want to notice, whenever you first configure it, sometimes it's good to do in the bash shell because direct. I've had problems with fish shell, not playing nice with it before, but once it's if you have a problem, you just reboot. But once it's configured for those mounts, it's way better than like your fstat file, 100%. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to boot. Okay, so it did boot. It did get that. So it did pick it up. So never mind. I thought for a second you couldn't. Thought for a second you couldn't. Like actually, I thought it had to be in that because remember, I remember before I was having issues with that. Anyway, so you're gonna do this fs type vfat and dev sda1. Right? And that'll get your drive mounted there for the boot. Now, it's just nice to have. Now, if you want to refresh all the connections, you can do this. And then do a df. And what that will do is, when you do a df-a, it's going to list all the drives. It's going to go ahead and ping all the possible drives. And go ahead and try to give you a list, but not like. Yeah, that one. See, pretty much tells me no. All right. It doesn't like me, so it says no. Yeah. So, let me go back on this auto.mount file. So, whenever you're doing SSHFS, you're going to want your mount point that you want it to mount at here. And keep in mind, you absolutely have, without a shadow of a doubt, your auto.master file has to have this, right? Has to, because that means direct mount. So this / and that little dash, and they're saying that file is a direct mount file, and then a timeout. That's the way I like to do it. It's nice and simple. If you look at my auto.master, it's like blank practically, right? So with NFS, I've noticed I haven't had any problems with the options. With Fuse, sometimes the options completely cause it to like not work. So what I do with Fuse, I just do Fuse, RW, allow other, and allow root, right? Because, well, nothing's infected my system. My firewall is pretty locked down. So this is how I like to do it. I like to do it like this. I think it's good. It's nice. It works great. Doesn't mess up. I like it. So this is a good way to do it right here. Like I said, for fuse, for SSHFS, fuse, RW, allow other, allow root, and that's like a port. Like that music there. Anyway, so what else? Oh, yeah. So at the end, whenever you're doing SSHFS mounts, you're gonna want to make sure you put those two little dots, and you're gonna be canceling it out with a hash symbol. Then you're gonna put your then you're gonna put your username and the host, followed by this and a dash. Now that works in direct mount. Now the other one you might have to cancel, put one of those slashes and stuff. Like if you look down here, that's how they have it, right? But I don't do it like that. I remember I used to have to a long time ago, but I think there was an update or something. Or it's because I'm not using the It's because I'm not using the map file. I'm just using direct mount, right? So keep going down here. This way you can do some debugging with it, right? And it goes in here on how to do. Oh yeah, like, and when you're using this, you have to have Fuse 3 installed. So apt install Fuse 3, like that. It has to be installed. It just has to. Anyway. Oh no, it is mounted right there. See, look at that. It is mounted. Okay. The other one was my NFS. Now I was tempted to maybe do another direct mount file and put like my NFS in one, and the SSH connections in the other. That way it just looks cleaner because it's just showing the host name. And I may or may not do that. I don't know. So I think I might actually do that. So mkdir, we'll give that a try now. So mkdir mmt. Should I try like this? I can't remember if we need to make the folder or not. So let's go ahead and give it oral. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do here is well, you know what would be the best thing to do? Is open up VS Code. Alright, and then we'll go down here to my remote connections. Explore. Yeah, my remote connections. Connecting the window. There you go. Man, that took a while. Okay, right here. Then go ahead and open workspace from file. Root. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a folder. Add folder to workspace. I'm gonna go ahead and add my C folder. And I'm gonna go ahead and add just because this will be my, well, no, that's good too. Okay, actually I don't want this root in there, so let me go ahead and move folder from workspace. Okay, so we got etc folder in there. Let's go ahead and do control F for auto.mnt. So auto.mnt, right? And then we'll go ahead and open this up here, and I'm going to go ahead and mkdir t, and I'm going to go, actually no, let's not do that. Let's go ahead and clone this auto.mount. So I'm going to do copy and then paste it, and then I'm going to go ahead and rename this real quick, and I'm going to do it auto. I'm going to put auto NFS mounts. Right, like that. Auto NFS mounts. And then the auto mount is now going to be renamed as auto SSHFS mounts. auto.sshfs mounts, like that. So we got that one, right? So now, I don't like all that SSHFS. I think that's too much, right? So we can go ahead and do here is, since we're in the SSHFS mounts, I'm gonna go ahead and go down like this, SSHFS. So, right, so now we're gonna have those under the folder, right? So anything with that doesn't have SSHFS on it was originally a NFS mount. That's how I did it before. And then if it wasn't an NFS mount, I got the SSHFS. So there you go. So anything that is a NFS is going to get removed, which would be the top 3. Go ahead and do that, cut that, and then select all that, paste that there. Take out these. Go ahead and save it there. And then the auto SSHFS mounts, go ahead and save that. All right. Just like that. Now, so that looks pretty good, right? I think that looks good, right? That looks good. Now we're going to go into the auto.master file, and I'm going to create another one. So I'm going to go ahead and do auto.fs mounts, and now I'm going to go ahead and do auto SSHFS mounts, like that. So now we got 2 files, right? We got the auto.sshfs mounts. And we might dash just to clear that wording up so it doesn't look so crazy. And then I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, rename this too. So rename like that. And then rename that, right? And then I'm going to go ahead okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do RC service, AutoFS, reload, right? MNT. So if I did the MNT SSHFS, looks like that's, yeah, that picked it up pretty good. So now we got these, right? And they're being picked up in there, which is good. Now, I don't want this SSHFS right there. I think it's too dirty looking. I just want the host name, right? That way, if I do scripting and stuff, I'm just seeing the host name, not seeing all that other crap. It's Project 110. All right, so this is all good right there. And then we go over here. So this one's good. This one's good. This one's good. That's all good, right? So the naming scheme isn't too dramatic. It looks good. Oh, one thing though. This actually needs to be changed. I missed that. This is supposed to be NFS, right? Like that. And then we're going to do RC service. AutoFS preload, right? And so as you can see, I didn't have to make those directories. They were made by themselves. All right, so that's something that's pretty nice. Now, there's a little hang in here, but that's because they're refreshing. So see, I got my fixed PC net, my fixed PC main rig, and my fixed PC Nextcloud, and my server monitor. And now my server monitor isn't online. Fixed PC Nextcloud, it's working just fine. Fixed PC net, that's working just fine. So as you can see, that's how it works. That's how I like to do it. It works a lot better, and it's what I recommend doing the direct mounts. It's just something I like. You can play around with the settings and stuff to make it quicker, but this thing, when it comes to stability in a server environment, it's like a must-have. So anyway, I hope I went over everything good enough for you. Like you said, you can just look at some of my options here. Again, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure apt install fuse 3 is installed, and then SSHFS, AutoFS, NFS kernel server like that. You're going to make sure all those are installed, right? Okay, so I forgot to tell y'all one little thing. Let me go ahead and close that out. So right here, one little thing I did forget to tell y'all. After you install Fuse, you got to go to fuse.conf. You need to make sure you got user, allow other, and allow roots in there. Now, you can also do by GUID if you want it to be perfectly safe and you only want to have that one user in there. You can do that as well. Anyway, I just thought y'all would like to know that. So it's, pretty important. Otherwise, your SSHFS mounts are not going to work. Because that's just what you're going to need. Anyway, if you like the video, like and subscribe. Give me some change, Bitcoin. Out.